Lesson 132. In this lesson, we're going to learn a new adjective, and that's magnus, magna, magnum. This adjective can mean either great or large, and you have to use the context of the sentence to figure out if great or large is the best meaning for magnus, magna, magnum. Keep in mind that if you're using ecclesiastical pronunciation, magnus will sound something like magnus. So far, all the adjectives that you've seen have come after the nouns that they describe. But with the word magnus, magna, magnum, we have a slightly different way of doing things. In Latin, whenever you have an adjective of size or quantity, it usually goes before the noun that it describes. So let's get some practice here with our exercises. In exercise number 1, est is the verb, filius is the subject, reginae is a genitive singular that's possessing filius, vir is the predicate, and magnus is an adjective that's describing vir. Notice that since magnus is an adjective of size or quantity, that it's coming before the noun that it describes. So number 1 will say, the son of the queen is a great man, or the queen's son is a great man. One other thing to notice about exercise number 1 is that in the context, it seemed like great was a better way to translate magnus than large. I guess the sentence could have said, the son of the queen is a large man, but great just seemed like a better meaning for magnus in context. In exercise number 2, servant is the verb, weary is the subject, magni is an adjective of size or quantity that's describing weary, patriae is a genitive singular that's possessing weary, and oppidum is the direct object. So number 2 will say, the great men of the homeland are guarding the town. In number 3, we have 2 clauses, one before quod and one after. In the first clause, potes means you are able. It's being negated by non. Manere is an infinitive that means to stay, and we have a prepositional phrase, in magna insula. Magna is an adjective of size or quantity that's describing insula. So the first clause will say, you are not able to stay on the large island. And in the second clause, habes is the verb. It's negated by non, and kibum is the direct object. So number 3 as a whole will say, you are not able to stay on the great island because you do not have food. In number 4, habet is the verb, patria is the subject, and reginam is the direct object. Magnam is an adjective of size or quantity that's describing reginam. That's why it comes before reginam. So number 4 says, the homeland has a great queen. I suppose that number 4 could have meant the homeland has a large queen, but in this context, large was not the best meaning for magnam. The best meaning was great. In number 5, habet is the verb, nauta is the subject, and familiam is the direct object. Again, magnam is an adjective of size or quantity that's describing familiam. So number 5 will say, the sailor has a large family. Again, the context of the sentence told us that large was the best meaning for magnam. In number 6, est is the verb, casa is the subject, agricolae is a genitive singular that's possessing casa, and magna is a predicate adjective. So number 6 says, the house of the farmer is not large, or the farmer's house is not large. In number 7, we have 2 clauses, one before quod and one after. In the first clause, spectamus is the verb, and caelum is the direct object. In the second clause, amamus is the verb, videre is an infinitive that means to see, and stellas is the direct object. So number 7 will say, we are watching the sky because we love to see the stars. In number 8, sed divides the sentence into 2 parts. In the first clause, laborant is the verb, pueri is the subject, validi is an adjective describing pueri, in agris is a prepositional phrase. So the first clause will say, the strong boys are working in the fields. In the second clause, sunt is the verb, And there's no other word to be the subject in that clause, so we'll need to use the word they that's included in sunt. The word they refers back to the boys from the first clause. Non is negating sunt, and laiti is a predicate adjective. So number 8 as a whole will read like this. The strong boys are working in the fields, but they are not happy. In number 9, delent is the verb, bestiae is the subject, magni is an adjective of size or quantity that's describing bestiae, silvarum is a genitive plural that's possessing bestiae, kasas is the direct object, and agricolarum is a genitive plural that's possessing kasas. So number 9 will say, the great beasts of the forests are destroying the houses of the farmers. Or, the great beasts of the forests are destroying the farmers' houses. In number 10, dant is the verb, nautai is the subject, incolis is the indirect object that's in the dative plural, insulae is a genitive singular that's possessing incolis, pecuniam is the direct object, and semper is an adverb. So number 10 will say, the sailors always give money to the inhabitants of the island.